We're dropping knowledge on Grambo Bros, talking about plants and how they go. Let's go. From seeds to the Joe, we always smoke pure. Nothing but good vibes up in here. We blaze the ganja, keep it fire. Grambo Bros, burning desire. Learn about cultivation, step by step. You can rock out the negativity. Cannabis vibes are in here. Grambo Bros, I'm something in. Where am I breathing tonight?
Oh, yeah. Nothing but good vibes up in here. I've been watching a lot of Macho Man Randy Savage stuff on Instagram. They're recommending it hard to me. I don't know what's going on. What's up, everybody? Before we get started, what are you smoking? Put it in the chat. Ooh, I'm smoking down some of that Pedro's Grow Room rosin. Ooh, some of that trop cookies of some sort. Ooh, love that crop. Ooh, yeah. What is up, everybody? Nothing but good vibes up in here and nothing but an echoey room up in here. I hung up a string of lights. I'm trying to make it sexy out there for you kids. What is up, everybody? New apartment, busy week. Hernia not getting better. It's tearing the ass out of me. You know what I'm saying? Oh God, it's tearing the ass out of me. And so yeah, between hanging out with my kid, moving, oh man, I thought I was done moving, right? I was not done moving, not even close, y'all. I'd left a bunch of crap over at the old house, and yesterday was the end of the month. I had to be out by yesterday, and so all of my stuff from yeah, just random crap like Scotty Real. God bless Scotty Real. What a nice guy he is in real life. He bought me a nice housewarming present, and it was a little desk. I haven't set it up. I got to screw it together, screw and glue and weld and all that sort of happy bullshit. But yeah, it's pretty sweet. So once I get that desk set up this week, I am going to see if I don't know. I'm not sure. I got the little home office back there. I got this big window right here. I'm not sure. What up, hot dog? That's like your name is like both a call and a response. It's like hi dog, and then it's like how you doing? Go hi dog. It's not bad. It's not bad. I dig it. And shout out to the which is a coos, Graham Borg, the Boner Lodge 2 Electric Boogaloo. For all you guys that don't know, me and two Church of Cannabis Nate and my comedian friend John Maggs, we lived in a house, three single guys. We were gonna call it the Pussy Palace, but we thought that was too gauche, so we settled on the Boner Lodge. Ooh, that yeah. All right, that's not going to. I'm probably not going to stop doing that at any point. It's been ridiculous. Yeah, there's Bike Holly. Shout out to Bike. That episode doing amazing, Bike. All you guys, if you want clones or seeds, especially clones, the guy is. I'd say Bike is one of the clone connects. Go over, find seeds here right now, and check them out. That episode's almost got 5,000 bikes. So thank you. Shout out Bike. Shout out Tim. I sent you a picture. I found the John Doe radio shirt right when I moved. I opened a random bag and I pulled it out. So yeah, what do we got in store for you tonight? Tonight is interesting. So most of the guests that you get in the canosphere, you know, you see a lot of the same names, a lot of the same content creators and everything. And this week, I reached out to a guy who is local here in Denver. He's a big Jug Dealers fan. He's one of the juggernauts over there. He's repping DGC, but he's a new mill grower, rocks the silicium. I think he yeah. Cream goes inside of a woman when you ejaculate the cream, and then it rises and makes a baby. Don't clip this. Don't clip this. I'm probably too high. I dropped my kid off to my ex a few hours earlier than I normally do, so I could finish some moving stuff. And Yeah, I was dropping them edible. I take these rosin gummies, man. This company called Oleo dropped these rosin gummies for really, really cheap. Usually the rosin gummies are very, very expensive, but I was able to get them for pretty cheap from this Oleo company. Thank you, GG. GG to y'all, GG. And thanks, Ames High Cannabis, my man. And speaking of content creators, make sure you check out Ames. I believe Chad Westport was just on with him, or vice versa. I can never keep what the hell's going on with what's going on. But shout out to all the fam. What up, Cannabis Vibes? If you guys like my theme song, that's a Cannabis Vibe there. So we've been setting up, me and Church of Cannabis Nate. We got the Boner Lodge broken down, ripped apart, all the stuff taken out. I purged. I got rid of a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff, man. My Ozfest 2000 shirt, first time seeing Pantera, had to go, man. Had to go. Had to go. And so I had to make a lot of hard choices. And yeah, I'm cooked tonight. I'm looking at my own eyes in the monitor, and I'm like, oh shit, dude, I'm fucking as Toxic says, I'm bloops. I'm bloops, bro. I'm bloops. So yeah, I wanted to talk about with our guest today, Doc Hollywood. We're gonna get him in here in a little bit. Interesting name, but awesome grower. He's another guy that struggles, uses cannabis as medicine. You know, he's got all sorts of stuff going on, but he's one of the more unique growers. He's bombing out just the firest fire. I say anyone using New Millennium nutrients, Chad, Chad the Jug Dealers, you know, the third member. It's Gabe, Jaron, and Chad. And then I'm behind the glass, as Jaron says. There's no glass. And so he's a very unique grower. And what was very, very interesting was that I wanted to talk about setting up a grow room. Well, I'm always reposting this guy's nugs. Couldn't figure out what the hell was going on inside of his grow room. So he ends up messaging me and he's like, yeah, I do something like very unique with my grow. And I was like, oh, I thought that was just a quirk, one of those things. So if any of you guys follow the Jug Dealer Instagram account and you see those, first of all, if you grow with New Millennium, tag Jug Dealers. I'm Jug Dealers. I'll share it. I run their social media account. I run Jug Dealers. I do not run Dude Grows. So if you got something you want to say, don't. That's one I'd cat Cannabis over there running the Dude Grows account. I'm over on Jug Dealers. I don't know. It's a weird incestuous family we got going on, but Cannabis love, y'all. Spreading the love everywhere. So tag them on there. And I wanted to talk about setting up a grow room because right now my apartment situation is not copacetic with growing. But what is awesome is because Church of Cannabis Nate loves weed. I don't have to tell you guys, the guy that works at the International Church of Cannabis is a hardcore weed guy, but he never grown. This guy's been smoking weed for 25 years. You know, he's a fellow Des Moines. He's my fellow Zamboni driver. The old Gramboni, he drove the Zamboni with me at the ice rink, and he moved to Denver. We became fast friends. We were already friends for 15 years, but we re-hooked up. It's like, oh, bro, welcome to Denver. What up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Gramborg. And yeah, so me and Nate, we hooked up over there, started growing, and then I found out that I could probably grow here, but it'd be a big pain in the butt. So he got a spot, and he's like, "Dude, I'm trying to learn. I don't really know that much yet. I don't have access to the genetics, and you're the one that owns all the gear." I went on an AC Infinity spending spree on one of my first paychecks with Dude Grows, and I got a whole bunch of stuff. I got one kit and then a 2x4. Pretty awesome. Use coupon code DUDE if you want anything over at the AC Infinity. I'm not sponsored by nothing, but you do get good deals. And I think if you order by midnight tonight at AC Infinity or at LG and use code DUDE, you get 25% off, which is pretty sick. So if you want anything out of AC Infinity, tonight's the night. I actually been sleeping under one of the, because our tents are over at the new house over with Nate. I took the fan from the the clip-on fan, and I clipped it to my bed. It is the quietest fan ever, like ever. It's ridiculous. I like clip-on fans to put on my headboard to kind of keep my bald head. I'm a heat pump. I run hot, and so I clipped it on there. I couldn't believe how quiet it was. Those guys really do make good shit over there. So we're setting up, and it got me thinking. I've been building grow rooms essentially my whole adult life in some capacity here and there, bopping and booping. And so when I first started growing in a tent, it was very intimidating. But my main fear was PM. I'd struggled with PM my entire like adult life of growing. I would always get runt genetics from my friends. Oh, we got the fucking killer cut from we got GG4 like right when it was like brand new on the scene. We got the forum cut of Girl Scout cookie, like right, like my homies is like going like that's what I had to tell Dude Grows when I started hooking up with them. I was like, oh my, I'm not like coming as a producer to come work with some growers. I'm a grower and the full stoner that became a producer, man. So that's why the whole like Dude Grows, Jug Dealers, fucking crew, like cannabis and media, that's my thing, dude. Rasta Jeff said something to me very profound like 2 years ago when I first met the guy, because he's a hardcore stand-up comedian fan. If you follow Rasta Jeff, you saw a picture of him and my buddy Sam Talent. What an awesome name. His real name, Sam Talent. And he's a talented fucking guy. Sam Talent is punk rock. And so Rasta Jeff, hardcore stand-up comedy fan. And he said, you would be wise to position yourself as the next Doug Benson. Doug Benson being the stand-up comedian stoner, he does all the 420 shows. But, you could question some of his weed allegiance. Not question. No, I take that back. The guy's an OG and he's legit. But let me not put him down and stand on that pedestal. Let me try to raise myself up to say, I'm like the weed comedian. I'm the guy that hosted Colorado's first ever open cannabis comedy show, the International Church of Cannabis. And so I've just been like doing this comedy freaking stoner thing like my whole life. I want to start. I'm going to reach out to ICANN THC. Thank you, Sleeps with Sativa. I always consider myself a little bit of a Renaissance man, or as they call it today, a loser. I wanted to learn how to play guitar. I wanted to be like Yngwie Malmsteen, Steve Vai. I wanted to be like Marty Friedman from Megadeth. And so what do? Well, you just throw 10 hours a day, 7 days a week at it for, the better part of 20 years, And so I do that with everything. And so I do that with all things media. And so I'm really focused on like getting back to performing and doubling down on this cannabis media game, growing the Grambo Grows channel, growing the Dude Grows, getting the Jug Dealers, selling them jugs. Those guys are so awesome. So it got me thinking as we're setting up this new grow space is, I'm new to it and it made me feel the way that a lot of viewers might feel. I forget. I just assume everybody watching this channel, hardcore grower, been in the dirt, got them grimy fingernails, covered in resin, but because this whole cannabis game is exploding over the last few years, I'm actually always surprised by how many people are, hey, look at this. Ben's like, I'm not calling him a weed noob, but because he's OG. It's like saying Black Sabbath wasn't metal. It's like, hey, back then he was the guy, And shout out to JLS Monster. That was the last run that I did at my at the Boner Lodge. The last grow that we did was the laser jet times the modified moose, as I called it, the laser moose, or the Moose X as it's actually called. Super Jaime was hilarious. I love the line about it sounds like a Jewish superhero, Super Jaime. Yeah, hilarious. So yeah, it's as I'm setting up there, I'm thinking, lung room, obviously, right? Like the lung room is the way. You get a big open space, you condition the air, you get your humidity dialed in, you get your temperature all dialed in, you get that air circulating. You're kind of effed on CO2, but I'll tell you, I'm too lazy for CO2. Although, once again, I'm not a shill for AC Infinity, but they're just really great shit. They got that awesome cheap CO2 controller. Fuck, I wish I had that 12 years ago. It would have been awesome. But now, I don't know. I'm out of the CO2 game. I got a 5x5 with a nice HLG R spec. And, I'm not laying down the PPFD if that is going to require to really get that CO2. Man, Scotty Reel's been going deep on the CO2 and PPFD game. Pretty freaking sweet. So talk just rolled in. We're going to wrap this story up just by talking about it's interesting how you set up a grow room. There's infinite ways to do it. Funny thing they used to say in poker, they'd always say it takes 5 minutes to learn and a lifetime to master. Well, I don't know if you can learn growing in 5 minutes, but you can learn it in 5 years, but you can spend another lifetime mastering it. And I don't know if you can ever truly master the plants. What are we, as Jaron says, we're just plant janitors trying to farm in that oil. So guys, some of you might follow him already on Instagram. This guy is legit like one of my favorite Instagram. I just realized that I've been doing this shot how boring. I made this whole thing with this border, and I realized I haven't been using my border. But yeah, guys, on Instagram, this guy, I've been editing his content all week. It's very funny. The reason he was in my brain is because we're all going to MJ BizCon this weekend. And this man is a filmmaker. He makes cannabis films using modern technology that is cutting edge, state of the art, awesome freaking stuff. As a filmmaker, I love it. And yeah, so let's bring in Doc Hollywood. What up, brother?
What's up? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Okay, cool. I just for some reason like my microphone, usually I can hear it in my headphones, but it's I can hear you and it's like I hear it on my phone, but my mic's going. So how are you?
StreamYard does some weird stuff where like they're so good with the noise canceling, it'll take you out. Who knows? But you're coming through loud and clear, man. I was bemoaning my little background here, but you're
Looks
wearing my
great.
background, homie. You're colorful. I love
Oh,
it.
dude, I love that stuff. I feel like if anything, like OBS and stuff like that, when they started using like that stuff to do like streams, and instead of like me trying to be like holding something up to the camera, I could just like play a 4K video and I could blow it up to the whole screen. And I mean, that stuff was like, I mean, it's cutting edge. I feel like, and I think that was like what, like 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah, I mean OBS has been around forever, but the whole
Yeah,
the system of stream, what's really changed the game is the education game. Is the way that I learned how to edit and animate and do all this stuff watching YouTube tutorials, man.
YouTube.
It's crazy.
Dude, I literally fixed my garbage disposal once by watching a YouTube video, and now like I use it for like as it's like my like education. It's like having a Encyclopedia Britannica on digital that you can literally replace the pages on anything you want to read and things like those. So I feel like the internet is kind of cool now to where like if you want to learn like anything, I mean, you can learn. I mean, photography, you can learn, videography. I mean, some of the cinematography, some of the stuff people are doing. So I mean, honestly, I'm just educated every day and just interested in the fact that like, there's so much information out there.
Yeah. No, I told you. One of the interesting things is I've been editing your work. Jaron from Jug Dealers, New Millennium Jaron, came to you with your crazy cannabis. Usually we don't show bud on here, just everyone knows the whole bud rule. But, I
Well,
think
this
we're
is
going to make it.
also this is me and Chris, Biolapse. So like I have to mention
Okay.
that his robots are what made this possible, but he
Okay.
has certain restrictions to what content he can, put out, and he works with a lot of bigger, places that probably cannabis isn't so friendly. So, and as such, like
Okay.
we work together on this, and mad love that you're editing it. I think that video, like it's exciting to hear that it's going to be on the MJ BizCon floor, and I mean, Chris and me are floored. So.
Nice. Yeah, dude, it's nice. We got a big giant, like I don't even know, 77-inch TV. It's vertical. And so I've been rendering now. It's only going to be in 1080. It's not in 4K. Jaron didn't have the 4K, but it's gonna look crisp. And so yeah, and I put every video, I made an hour video out of that with all the little edits and things, made it look
I love
good,
that.
crossfaded between. So yeah, I'll make sure to send you some video of the video.
Yeah, I
But
can't wait to see it because, like, in my mind, I can picture like what it looks like. But I'm like when we first took on the project, I remember like I was talking about doing this project with Chris and with the robots and Jair, DLI. He like reached out, like he's like, dude, I want to be your first customer, like, which was super cool because over the years I've been friends with him, but there's never been a way for us to like I guess work together. And I don't really like come to him and say like hey, we need to like work together. It's just usually I think it just comes to pass that how it works and the vibes were there. And so like it was kind of cool to get to film in such a degree that we did because like we filmed for days on those, and like we were able to keep the buds alive using syringes with water. And I mean it was crazy. We'd never done that before.
so
I've never done that. So
So we should set up. I'm going to try to find you. It doesn't look like you have them on Instagram, but I'll try to find one of the videos. You, essentially, and what was your partner's name?
It's Chris. His name is Kronos Project Biolapse. So if you look up on Face or on Instagram, it's Biolapse, and he
Okay.
created the robot that actually does everything. Like he's the only one in the world that has that makes this technology. And I know for a fact there's only one other robot that has this capabilities. and it's only in the UK. So to have this technology with cannabis, and like I told him, I was like, it's kind of let's show a different way of how to film cannabis. And I mean, he was already like ahead of the curve on everything he does. And I mean, obviously, like I look after like that. He's just been a mentor, but it's something to where like working together, and like he's like we can set the key points. So I'm like, okay, I want the robot to go down here, go to the left, and then like zoom in and then be in like crisp trichome, kind of clarity, which is kind of cool. And then it can move and then rotate. And people think we're rotating the bud when really we're rotating the camera. And there's a background that he uses dragon frame, which they do in movies. So dragon frame is something that like those big cylinder screens that they use for cinematography, like that's it basically it programs it so whenever our subject moves, the background moves with it. And we put like a kitchen. I think that like there like I did one for this glass necklace. We did it looked like Indiana Jones. We did like some crazy, cool thing with it. And obviously it's not anything that like we got paid to do, but like DLI we did. So we made sure that we over delivered on everything for you guys.
Nice. So I'm uploading. I just can't find any of the videos on online. So I'm uploading to StreamYard, one of the ones. So here, we'll show it in a little bit. If it gets us age restricted, F it. We're going deep with Doc Hollywood. We're introducing you out there because you are a cannabis content creator. And if I were to ask chat who you are, I don't think a lot of people would know. Do you do YouTube or do you just do an Instagram? I know you're big on Facebook. Are you just
Well,
on the social media tip or
I appreciate that. I feel like if anything, a lot of people probably don't know me, and I take pride in the fact that like I'd rather people meet me in person. But typically, like social media, so Facebook, I'm really like I have like almost 1 million followers collectively with all my pages, and reaching like 640, 100 million, almost like a half a billion people. And that's
Wow.
mainly like glass art and then food. And then I don't really I separate my cannabis content to pretty much Reddit and Instagram. So you'll only see my cannabis content there, and then like YouTube. I had one, and you know how it goes, like content's not allowed everywhere. So finding your channels and finding where it works and where you're allowed. And then once I found Reddit's a big, like I'm on like huge on Reddit, just because you can say anything. Like say if somebody says, hey, like who's that grower? Where do I get this? Questions you can't answer normally. So it's just kind of nice that you're able
Right.
to be more socially acceptable.
Yeah. All right. Let's show a little bit of this. This is if there's anything that could be considered nug porn, it's this. And we'll just go ahead and say this video is for 18 and over 21 to consume. Make sure you consult a doctor before you watch this next clip. Yada yada. Let's check it out, dog. So this is not the bud rotating. This is a
That's
motion
the
control camera that
No,
is
that one
actually
actually is. This one actually is a
okay.
spin. So what this is we're doing 360 degrees, and this is on a robot. And what it is we take 10 images per angle. So per 360-degree angle, we take 10 photos, and then from there we take all 3,600 photos and put it into like Premiere. Or no, first it's into Helicon Focus, and then we run it through Premiere as stop motion. So that like a lot of this stuff here is all the stop motion. The robotics stuff is going to be like there's only two, three. I think there's like 3 videos we did of it. Like it's like coming in and it like does some crazy stuff. It goes up and down and zooms in and stuff. But this stuff
Okay.
here is actually done on the MP6X. So like this robot is actually like you can just buy this robot, which is kind of cool because what it does is it macro positions your subject, so you don't got to move your camera. So like I think that's kind of cool that there I can actually do every day in my house. So versus I don't have to go to Chris's studio. And I mean, he taught me how to do a lot of this stuff, but he made all these, I guess, options into this robot. So I think it's kind of cool to mention to people like that this content's being shot with robots, and I mean obviously I've heard people say like, oh, like you're cheating or something. And I'm like, well, what's cheating when it comes to technology? And I can actually stack photos like manually. I can get a lens and I can crank my hand, and that's how I started doing stacks. And then one day I had a friend that said, hey, I can make this easier. I was just like,
Yeah,
thank you.
dude.
you know
It's essentially just a motion control rig. Industrial Light and Magic used those on Star Wars in '79, bro. Ain't cheating. This is ancient technology that's being leveraged in our modern cannabis sphere in a way that people haven't really used yet. I'm
And
going to
that's
upload
true. I
another
feel
one of
like I
these.
don't know if you read, but like a friend of mine posted recently that Instagram and Meta is going to be doing more educational cannabis stuff. They're going to be allowing more on educational. I've been saying this for years, just because obviously entertainment and education value. I mean, you can like the problem with it is like most podcasts and things like those, they get into sponsors, and that's when things can get a little sketchy because it's just like promotion of goods and things like those. But like obviously your show, the way that you do everything educationally and it's always informative, and you have, you actually talk to your followers and stuff. That's the kind of show that people really need nowadays in cannabis, because like there's not a lot of information out there. We don't have encyclopedias that you can look up on cannabis versus the 50 articles that have been written about whatever and this and
Right.
that, versus it's like people like you and I that just if we catch each other on camera to kind of give information.
Buddy Scotty Real, fucking Dude Grow Show legend over there at Real Growers. He always says we're just learning in public, man. Like
It's
right
it's
along
a
with everybody else. Like what's the newest stuff? All right, yeah, let's talk about DLI, daily light integral. Let's talk about PPFD. Let's talk about UV spectrum. What's going on?
Well, and that stuff's cool because, like, obviously, like, I mean, in my grow world, like, a lot of people know that I've grown most of my life, and I've had bigger grows back in the black market days and this and that. Like, I was a caregiver and this and that. But then, like, I got in a car accident, so like, I lost my memory. Like, I don't remember who I was before that. So now I had to relearn how to grow. Like, I mean, I used to be able to grow 3,000 square foot houses, and it wasn't the best weed. Obviously, it was, it was like 10 years ago. It was kind of like it was okay. It was whatever it was. But at the same point, like nowadays, it's kind of interesting to see that, where we are and how it came about. So I mean, I just think that it's just a kind of a cool like industry to be into, where like, when you're in our shoes, to where we were like me and growing, every single mistake I've ever made has actually made me a better grower. Facts.
Story as old as time, man. I just said about I have lots of different diverse talents I like to pursue. I was a musician growing up, and I became a stand-up comedian. Then I started editing. Then I started doing on-camera stuff, and it's just always the
You
pursuit of like,
do amazing content. So I feel like in terms of it, I've seen some
oh,
of your videos at like hundreds of thousands of views. You've always got like, the appeal towards the audience versus like some of the podcasts that I really enjoy in the world that I actually used to watch all the time, which no names, but like they've become more power focused. It's kind of like, like it's paid. You can just tell like everything's paid versus there's no longer that conversational style of everything. They're moreover like showing off bags and products and this and that. And I mean, I get like it's paid and this and that, but the biggest problem with paid is I wish people would actually say, hey, I was paid to say this about this brand.
mhm,
Because if I was a
yes,
podcaster, I would just want to know, like, legit, do you actually smoke that pipe? Is that something that sits on your desk? Like me, I get people
right.
all the time, like, what do you smoke with? Whatever's laying around. So, like, it just, I have really nice rigs and I have really, cheap stuff. I think, like, but at the same point,
Dr. Dabber hit me up.
dude, now Dr. Dabber, yeah,
Not
dude. Okay, so Dr. Dabber, I've had
hit me
I've had
up.
a few Dr. Dabbers, great products. I just
I
think that
love
like
them.
on a level, it's just I
I'll straight
okay,
up
so
say
like me.
fuck Puffco.
I bought
Those
a
guys.
Yocan, and like this was $60, right? And I can buy like atomizers for this, and it actually comes with like you can get different batteries for this. So it's like it beats the technology, and it's like I get people will be like, yeah, but mine lasts longer. And I'm like, yeah, well, if this breaks $60, and I'm back to smoking again. And it's not always about like that I can afford, more. I can afford a better pipe because I mean I've got every rig. I'm pretty sure that like ever except for a few of the Puffcos, but or Dr. Dabbers too. But at the same point, like I mean, nothing beats a rig.
Oh, no, you're not gonna. I love this thing. So my thing is that I'm a flavor whore. So you can't get giant dabs out of this, but you can pull some pretty good flavor out of it. So I'm always on that tip. Fucking anything that is convenient and terpy,
Tastes good.
like whatever's on the Venn diagram of convenient and terpy, whatever works the best. But yeah, you can't beat a rig.
Well, and that's
My
what it
buddies
takes. Like I
always
feel
said
like
hops.
to me, it's like you're my favorite kind of person to talk to, because like anybody that likes dabs for flavors and like things like that, like I mean, I have dabs that are like, okay, so I have distillate for like when I'm say skiing, and rosin doesn't work as well up there or this and that. So like it's like it's all about where I'm at, and like I guess like it's great to have live rosins and all this amazing stuff, but at the same point, occasionally I catch myself to where I'm like, I maybe I should be investing into my businesses or something like that versus like, spending. I could tell you, like, I mean, for years, I mean, I freaking probably a hundred grand at least of just spending at the stores, all the different, and I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
like EPC, go buy a pound, I take it home, I wash it myself, and then I'd have myself some goods. But it's like you're not able to buy fresh frozen, and that's what's sad in the Denver market. If you're a medical patient, you should be able to buy fresh frozen. Like I should be able to go in there and buy, if I can buy my plants cured and I can buy my plants in products, why can't I buy my plants in a fresh frozen environment and they just take off the table like I can't buy a certain amount of whatever now? But in my opinion, if I had fresh frozen, I could go make my own water hash and pressing's legal. So
Huh.
happy
Yeah,
day.
that's not a bad point. I don't know how much it would fly off the shelves, but if you had a specialty dispensary that's like, that's we're that guy, they could make a killing doing that. Honestly, Denver's
Well,
pretty heady. It's kind of shocking. I mean, it shouldn't be
it
shocking,
is.
but damn, everyone smokes weed here, and everyone's kind of connoisseury. Not everyone, but
Well, it
all the
is,
people
and
I
I
hang
just
out with,
feel like it's
everyone I know.
interesting because, like, back in the day, like in the early parts of like buying weed, like in like buying pounds and like legally, like having a medical card, and like I mean, you could go buy a pound of keef, you could go buy a pound of like I mean, you could buy different separations, you could buy hash, things like those. But like, it's just kind of an interesting world where I bet you nobody's ever gone to the med and said like, hey. I like these are my plants. I got 99 of them. They're like, I mean, I could probably take 20 of them and fucking just, take fresh frozen. And then that's just 20 off my 99. And you still got what? Like, 80, 87 some, some plants. So I just think it's on a level when you think about the actual plant counts and things that actually go into medical. That's where like, I just, when I hear people say like Rex gonna kill medical, I'm like, no, it probably can't. And if it does, it's only because people want to make more money. They can charge more, like on the rec level, like they're charging $90 for a half a gram cartridge. $90.
Some
You're
some places
killing
do,
me,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, you got to be that savvy shopper. Like I go to like certain places on the med side, and I can get like a good laser cat cartridge for like $35, and then down the street they're 77 and shit. It's like, what are
Well,
you
dude,
people doing?
what gets me is like I won't mention this spot because they're like where I have my plants out, and I don't want to like talk shit. But like, okay, so like, at their medical only spot, I can buy live rosin, right? And it's on the med side, and it's like it's cheap. Okay, it's good. It's fire ass shit for cheap. All right. Well, if I go to their other store that's a rec and med, I went there the other day, and they said we don't sell medical rosin here. We only sell rec rosin here because we're shifting to rec only here. And I'm just like, man, y'all, I mean, that kind of business to me, I mean, I don't know everybody in the recession right now that can afford plugging out, you know, $80, even $60 grams. I mean, that's ridiculous. We're how many years into this? And I mean, if anything, rosin should be cheaper, less materials and shit used, no
Yeah,
gas.
yeah,
But
no, we're in the ape shit times. I don't think we all have perspective on what we're in right
truth.
now, especially in these major markets, Colorado, Washington, all these major, the upcoming ones like Minnesota. We're in the butt fuck. Who the fuck knows? Like we all know how it's gonna shake out. I always reference Colorado's craft beer market, right? You can go get a pint for $1 on a Wednesday, or you can go pay $17 for that same pint at some craft brew, and it's well worth the money if you're that guy.
And it is, and I actually like that analogy. I use the same and a similarity just because, like, when you're thinking about like craft cannabis, like I said this the other day, and somebody said to me, they're like, craft does cannabis? I thought they only did distillate cartridges. So I'm like, no, no, no. Craft cannabis is like small
And
batch,
I just thought
things
you
like
meant
that.
craft like with a K, like craft. They're in the cannabis game now, of course.
Well,
When we
what
were in
sucks is
LA,
you have
there
to
was
like
a
so. It's the saddest part about the cannabis industry is a lot of people walk around and name stuff. If you put a K on there, I got money Craft, the company that owns Craft Food, would light you up. I mean, I know a friend of mine that he made Sesame Street Cookie Monster looking stuff, and Sesame Street sent him a cease and desist and wanted every dollar
Yeah,
for
dude.
every time he's ever made a dollar from those. So
Damn.
I mean, with the munchies and on my Facebook, like when you have like like almost 1 million followers and shit, and you're that far up, you have to watch how you do things. Like I can't just like I don't know, I can't say like Oreo. I have to say that loud publicly. I actually went through a whole debacle where I just said the word Oreo. Basically, I said red velvet cheesecake Oreo squares. And I got hit so hard that I mean, their lawyers are in my inbox basically down. And then like they shut my Facebooks down. I lost like a $10,000 bonus, which sucked because like $10,000 would have been great. But on the other point of it, it's just sad to see that that happens. So now I don't even now it's funny because like Oreo has actually in many times have told me like, why you don't say Oreo anymore. I'm like, yeah, I say cookies and cream for the rest of my fucking life. That's just how it is. So I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
that's
P's and Q's in the
our
industry
buddy
too.
Rasta Jeff got hit up by Starbursts, and because he had like some Starburst thing, and they
Oh
hit him, and now
no.
it's the Strawberry Burst or something like that. A
Well, and that's what's
dispensary I worked
crazy.
with
Like,
called GT4 Sticky Ape. Like, oh, we got the Sticky Ape.
well, if you're smart about it, like, I mean, get this, like, I mean, not to plug a brand, but like Rebel Edibles, like, they're right next door to this lab I work at that I take photos for. And they do a Starburst kind of like in a setting like candy. It's similar like that. But do they call it that? Fuck no, they walk the hell away from that. Because obviously, if you watched anything, like, I could pull out a rig out of my case for that was a Starbucks Klein glass. I can't remember the.
Cappuccinos.
Yeah, and I have a Dabbuccino. I still have it in a case, and man, it's a Klein, and I mean it's.
When
But I'll
I
tell you,
moved here, the Dabbuccino was like it.
it's worth
2015,
nothing
it was.
though. You can't
Mm,
sell them. You can't like
oh,
people don't want them. But like same difference. I want it. I wanted it because of what happened. And even so, like I mean, recently, I mean, who was it? What candy company or no? It was Gorilla Glue came after somebody in the industry, so you couldn't say Gorilla Glue. So I have T-shirts that say Gorilla Glue, and that's like my OG classic of shit. Because it's like, well, I bought this shit back when you didn't talk shit. So what do you want me to do? Burn it? Like,
right. Yeah, we're in the ape shit times. We're in the times where no one knows exactly what you can or can't do. Our good buddy Turpicana Kyle, he's got Turpicana extracts, and
oh yeah,
that's always the joke. Like, how long till Tropicana comes after? Well, they just launched edible lemonade, infused lemonade. I was like, are you nuts? Are you fucking nuts, bro?
I want
Don't
to
put
try
out the
it.
brand, the brand you're mocking. Don't dip into their pond. But shout
Well,
out to
dude,
Turpicana. Go hit him up. He'll ship to you.
I have to say this. The best time I ever had was like I was at a show and I was like brought in for a celebrity judge for Uncle Stoner's squash off or whatever, right? And it was super fun. And I'm hanging out with Giddy Up and shit and fucking like we're all just hanging out. And like Dab Stars rolls up and it's like Nick and Jonah and like his lady and stuff. And all of a sudden I see that they have a slushy machine and I'm like, it's empty though. And I'm like, what's this slushy machine? So like I'm walking around and I end up like putting a chair up right next to their booth just because I know something cool is gonna happen. And they went up to some chef that had can of sugar and bought just had like here's gifted, and then all of a sudden made these fucking slushy medicated awesomeness. And I mean, I have to say. That was a fun ass fucking time. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I get edibles make you sleepy, but it's just like a martini, Like martinis are cool and they're fun and everything, but you have too many, you're going out.
Of course. So here, I got this one took forever to get uploaded, but if YouTube didn't shadow ban us before, it's definitely going to shadow ban us now. Let's talk about this guy. Here was the member berry
That is
berry.
also done on the MP6X. So that is
Okay.
basically our cameras are about like I'd say like I think that's a 90 millimeter. I think that's my camera. That's my lens with my 90 millimeter with my Sony A7 IV or 4 I had.
Okay.
And so like this is shot in actual 10K, and then we have to bring it down to 4K or else nothing can play it. Your phone can't play it. Like, it'll just like you have a black screen, it looks at you and just
So I have a
laughs
laptop. It will explode if I press the space bar.
yeah, it's pretty serious, I have to say. Like, and that's what the level of this stuff needs to be. And that's why I feel going forward with cannabis and to be seen this way. And I have to say, Chris has just been like an elemental, like just awesomeness in my career to where like he's just brought me in and like I can ask questions. And like this is a person that, I mean, has shown me how to do these things, but like we'll change it. We'll just basically change a lens for these ones, and then we'll be able to go in there. And obviously this machine is just like, I think we have videos of it going, like he has a time lapse of my camera going back and forth. And then the machine, if you don't have capabilities of a macro rail, which, he builds those too. But if you don't have one, the machine can stack them too. So the fucking subject will just move up and it'll go to the nearest focus and then it'll go all the way to the farthest focus. And then it'll take photos in between there and basically stacks them into one, and you get one solid. That's like Eric Nug shots. All those shots. He's probably taken like 16,000 photos, and then stacking those, and then making videos.
Would that be
He's
considered
killer.
bracketing at that point? Is that bracketing the photos? Because I know with
Well, there's all
HDR
right. So
lives,
bracketing,
bracket them.
like, all right. So from my understanding, like, okay, so there's in-camera bracketing, and that's where like I get that term of but like when I hear like what I do and what that kind of filming is, it's called focus stacking. So basically, you're stacking. So like when you start it, like basically what that machine will do for me is like when I go into the macro function of it, it'll be like, what's the near focus? So I'll bring the camera all the way back till my focus points, which I'll turn on in red on my camera, and it'll pull all the way
Mhm.
back till I can just see like the front of the bud. And then I'll click it, and then okay, then I'll go to the furthest focus, which will zoom all the way in until it goes to the back of the bud, and I'm talking like to where it bokehs out the background, but you just get that last edge and then you hit it there and then you choose how many photos you want. So like right now I'm doing 300 photo stacks. Like I used to do like 10 photo stacks. Like I think with my hand I could get like maybe 30. Like that was the max my hand could actually do. But this robot gives me more, I guess, agility to do the things that I want. And I mean, obviously, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the the spins I've been doing in Nugs. That's the same exact kind of montage as those videos. Basically, I took a Nug and then I took 10 images from the nearest focus to the farthest focus at 360 angles. So, and that's 3,600 images. And then just I blended all those photos, or actually, I split those photos. So I split them all up into those 10 photos, sections. And then from there, I can blend it all into like Premiere Pro, and it's like a stop motion video. So it's kind of
Wow.
crazy to think that I'm talking about this because like months ago, I had no freaking idea how to do any of that.
Wow. See, because you're knocking right on the doorstep of my world. As soon as I saw that stuff, I knew exactly what was happening, and I was like, "Wow, this is brilliant stuff that's going on, my friend." And
Oh, thank you.
so that's the program that you'll use. The focus. What is the focus pulling
Well, the
software you're
focus, so
using?
what you use is like, okay, so like you can buy like obviously you can buy what is it, Photoshop and stuff. But like I've been one of those photographers where I've tried to steer away from anything. I don't even know how to use Photoshop. So I use Helicon Pro. Helicon Pro is like $240 or something, and that's forever. Like you don't have to pay a subscription. It's like permanently on your stuff. And from there, I mean, I could literally like sit down with you and like be like, look, man, this is how you do it. You take your photos, you stick them in one file on your desktop, so they're all in one. You open up Helicon Focus, boom, choose all those photos. It opens them up, and then you choose A, B, C, or A, B, or C, and those are different stacks. It'll stack your for like a depth map, or it'll do like dot characteristic, or it'll do a few other ones. I'm not capable of telling technology
Oh
wise.
no. So that's very interesting. So while I'm editing out some of your footage that you guys had sent over with Jaron, also over on the Jug Dealers account, you had sent me a nug. And this sent us off on a conversation loop on Instagram that I immediately cut off. I didn't want to know more. I want to talk to you about it here. I was talking about before we got going about setting up grow rooms. And so you sent me this nug, this purple nug on Jug Dealers. We shared it across. it got the most love of anything I've ever shared through the Jug Dealers
Really?
account. I'm opening up, it's like a dozen new messages. What the fuck happened? I open up, and it's all it reacts to this nug. And so I'm always
That's
you're always
awesome.
sharing all the new millennium stuff, and I always see these bathtub videos, and I'm like, maybe he like is like changing out his pots or something, or maybe that's where he films to keep things clean. And you go, no, I grow in a bathtub.
To
Doc
me, it's like
Hollywood,
it.
explain yourself. What is growing
Okay.
in a bathtub? Like, what does this look like?
Well, I have to say, like in my early days, like before like my memory lapse and all that shit, I used to use a bathroom to obviously, I'd do different newt changes and or like obviously mixing my newts in there and stuff, or I'd bring plants in there for this and that. But like all the places I ever lived in Colorado, like it was just it was difficult to grow like in my own personal space. Like those bigger grows were always like work grows. Those were caregiverships. I didn't really live in those, or whatever. But it's same difference. Okay, so now I find I finally moved to a place where um, they allow growing, and I was like, okay, cool. And so I immediately had a guy shut off all my vents, that connect to any of the other condos in the building. And then obviously I was like, asked my wife, I was like, hey, we have two bathrooms and we have two bathtubs. And like obviously our master suite has a dope ass tub, fucking sick. And obviously this other tub is nice, but like it's like we're not gonna use it. So like I was like, can I grow in it? And she's like, sure, I mean, what can you really grow out of it? Because I can't. I have to tell you, like, I have lighting issues a lot of times because I have a black cloak that goes across my shit. So if anything, there's a black cloak that goes across, and we still use the bathroom like throughout the day and this and that. And I mean, most of the time it's closed, but I'm I really don't care because like most of the time I know like when I send my cuts off to other friends and they don't have the cloak, and all this other stuff, it grows really good plants and they don't have issues. And obviously I've been able to grow some decent buds and stuff, but I've been doing some genetic projects and like I found out that I gotta tell you, like a bathtub kicks ass for the fact that it's reflective. So like everybody's doing this whole thing where they put lights on the side and shit, right? I mean, I have to say, I haven't.
Lighting, yeah.
If I got to that, I mean, the sides of my tub are so reflective that I could show you fucking leaves in there that are burned on the back. That my buds are fine, but the leaves are burned to shit because of that reflection and shit. So I mean, and then other points of it obviously are like you have space and I can only grow I think 4 or 5 plants at a time. That's it. So I get people all the time. They're like, "Dude, you're crazy," like But if I'm relearning how to grow, I had to like go from scratch. Like I had to like get some autos and fucking like I found this thing called Tangs. It was like Tangs auto thing, and you can use basically A and B bloom on fucking advanced nutrients. You can just grab advanced nutrients and use A and B bloom only. And I have the whole thing written out in my notes. And I mean, to a T, this would grow plants perfectly. I mean, the autos every single time. So it gave me more intuition to understand problems and like, okay, the plants, how it's going to grow. And then finally, I had somebody that's like, dude, I give you a photo. And I was afraid because obviously I don't want to like get like one of these private cuts from one of my friends and it fucking dies. Or like obviously like I film, so I don't want my friends to be like, "Where'd that bud go that you were taking photos of the other day?" Because it's gone now, and I don't see you taking photos anymore. So, but it's just
Yes.
like, I mean, obviously it is a learning process. So, I mean, there's times where, I'd have herms and stuff like that. But my first photo period was really great. I mean, it felt great to know that like I could just take notes. And I mean, but most people don't get it. Like my brain injury is so bad, or it was so bad back then that like, I mean, I'm talking like Dory. Yeah, yeah, if you watch like fucking Finding fucking Nemo, all right? I'm like fucking Dory, where like, I mean, it's just like I'm talking to you and shit, and we're all fucking copacetic, and all of a sudden, ooh, what's over there? Who are you? Who are you? What the fuck? Who the fuck are you? And like, I mean, this was every day, and I mean, I would have to start over from scratch every day, all the time. So
You're
I
like
have this
it's that
notes.
Drew Barrymore shit. You're 51st dates, bro.
It was, and I use that analogy 10-second Tom, all like during my fucking shit, is like when it first happened, my wife was like telling me like, and this is it's funny, like I mean, obviously it's sad and what happened and shit, but like I was out buying a pound of weed legally as a medical patient, and I got in a ride share and he fucking ran a light and I got T-boned by a drunk driver. And I wake up in the hospital and I don't remember, I don't even remember shit. I remember getting in his car. I remember fucking buying the weed. I remember the bag. I remember the clothes I was wearing. But then after that, I don't remember shit. But apparently I was awake and I was telling the cops that I had paperwork that said that it's legally mine and it's in a locked box and you need an extra warrant to get in there. These motherfuckers forced the ambulance drivers to take my fucking ass to the hospital. I'm fucked up, by the way. I got a broken neck and I'm fucked up. And these guys are arguing about taking this pound of weed with me to the hospital. So when I woke up, like I kept asking the same like every 3 seconds, keep repeating the same shit. And it was like, what happened? Like, I'm hurt. Like what's wrong? And then I was like, where's my weed? And seriously, like, where's my weed? And like, my wife's like, it's right here, babe. And like, it's skunk number one. So like, it made the whole ICU at Swedish Medical reek like fucking weed. And they still call me the weed man when I go to like my doctor's appointments and shit. Like the fucking weed man. And like, I mean, it was funny because like they forced my wife to kind of take it home. And that's kind of a no-no if you like know the legal, and it was a cop that said do it. So, but like, I mean, they weren't allowed to do that, but I have to say, like, I was in the hospital for a long time. So good
Damn,
times though.
dude.
Frown upside down,
Holy shit. And I'll throw out there that my studio setup is not fucking good. And it looks like my laptop is being weird. So if I lose audio or something, we'll have to just wrap quick and we'll go to plugs and everything. So I'm just throwing it out there. I'm good now. But holy shit, dude. See, I talked with Chad Westport last night. I told him a story about I was at the Emerald Cup this year. And I take legalization fairly seriously. I'm a cannabis refugee. I left my place of birth after 32 years and I uprooted everything I had, started with zero in this new expensive place just so I could like live free. So I take legalization a little bit seriously. I understand the flaws and everything, but they were selling t-shirts and stickers at this booth that just said make weed illegal again. And I gave them a little bit of a stink eye because I was like, I get what you're saying behind that, like the decriminalization movement, let's do it like this, but son of a bitch, in a man's lowest moment, you could have been in handcuffs saying those things and you weren't. And the stinky brick was sitting next to you. And so I hear that and I go, man, fuck making weed illegal again, dude.
No,
People
no, we're
forget this is real life. I've had my door kicked in with fucking agents with guns pointed at me. Oh, so I can only grow 4 plants instead of 12? Fucking, cry me a river, dude. Some people are getting, fuck that. I get a little passionate. I'm sorry.
no, you're good and passionate. It's fine. Like, I mean, I got my door kicked in by cops and people that weren't fucking cops because you couldn't call the cops on fucking people that kicked in your fucking door. Like, they kick your fucking
Exactly.
door in, and what are you gonna do?
When
Oh,
you
you can't have
talk
a
to
gun. Oh, you can't have this. You can't have fucking
when you
that. You can't
talk to
even.
an OG in this game, you get a different opinion than someone that's been in it for 3 or 4 years. When you've been in this 20 some years, you go, man, I've lost people and I've seen some shit. And thank Christ for fucking Amendment 64 in Colorado. That's all I'll
I
say.
respect that stuff because obviously, like, I mean, I've been growing since I was 15. I'm 42 now. So, like, 26, 27 years. Now, I wasn't growing good back then, it's good enough. But, like, I mean, I look after anybody that's been in it, even like a short time to look after, like, I mean, nobody's going to know, like, with dispensaries, growing up in a dispensary world of, like, how bad cops really were. And I mean, I even remember cops in Elizabeth County after Amendment 64 was in the Constitution, and I'm still getting fucking like a federal fucking like getting like giving me felonies just for taking garbage bags of garbage, and they pulled us over. So I remember we ended up getting it thrown out because I asked if I could get my garbage tested to prove it was garbage, and they said they threw it out. So we had the fucking entire case thrown the fuck out, and like I mean, but still, I mean that's it's the problem with you can go anywhere in the world. Like if you go in Colorado, people don't know this, but you can't buy any recreational weed in the Springs.
Yeah,
Can't do it.
it's funny you bring that up. I just learned that this week and couldn't believe it then as much as I believe it. Just you take it for granted that, like, right,
But
like
it's
it's
in the
legal.
Constitution of Colorado that says that you can smoke anywhere. So like that fucking shit is just zoning, and that's actually not even zoning. That's a city, just like Thornton. If you go to Thornton, there's I don't think there is. There's probably like one, but it's probably on the outskirts. But there is no dispensaries in Thornton. There's certain
Hmm.
cities that just don't allow the zoning, and like that's why you find dispensaries that are in weird fucking locations, and like obviously in like a lot of it's in Commerce City and shit because it's like out towards the factories, but. I mean, I have to tell you, it's pretty sad to know that like as soon as I go to the Springs, I have to start thinking consciously thinking about, okay, I have a fucking medical card, print that bitch out, have that shit in my bag, because like I mean, I need to prove how I have all this fucking weed on me all the time. It's not like I'm like I'm not going and doing anything wrong other than I smoke, and I mean I could prove it. I could easily fucking prove how much I smoke. I mean it's but the other point of it, it's kind of sad we have to get into that because it's like it's if it's a medicine and it's honestly like this medicinal plant, why is it that like we're fighting hand over fist for this thing when it should be somewhat more of a charming experience versus like they're treating it as like gasoline or some shit or like oil. Like it's gonna run out someday. Like fucking cannabis. I'm sure like, if I was into religion, like I saw this meme the other day about Jesus going like, oh man, I made fucking weed a plant and you motherfuckers charge fucking $400 an ounce. I mean, like it was funny because I'm not religious or anything, but to get into that construction of it, it's so fucking funny to think that on a level. It is a plant and it is a weed. And that's the reason like why for years I can chop the heads off my plants and I can top them like 100 fucking times if they're straight up growers. And it's a weed. You can do fucking horrible shit to your plants. And I mean, I've seen plants that almost look like they were dying. And all it took was just feeding them some water. And then like I'm talking like dead, like leaves like all the way down. And I mean, like I said, mistakes. They've taught me everything.
All of a sudden, chat is going off about my hometown. I'm from Des Moines, Iowa. And I'm like, what's with all the people in Des Moines, Iowa out there? Shout out to all you guys. I
Well,
don't know if you guys want to
respect.
mention because it's still prohibition. They have a bullshit medical law. I just for all you guys just to know how my Des Moines roots are. I was at the Bebops over in Clive, and I was sitting in the drive-through, and I see a dispensary, and my head almost exploded. I was like, I'm in Des Moines, Iowa. Apparently, it's that boof 3% sort of weed, like the faux weed, sort of hempy stuff. But
It works
still,
though. It works
shout out to
though.
Bebops. Anyone that goes to Des Moines, Iowa, eat at Bebops. It's delicious.
Let me just say this. Like when I was like recently we drove back to Illinois because like we have a farm out there. We were driving back to see my wife's dad, and like I had like in my mind, like obviously I brought my medicine, it's like whatever. I brought my stuff, and I mean when I hit Iowa, my brain immediately the whole time we were in Iowa was like, fuck, I can go to jail here. I can go to fuck like for a joint. It even says it on the highway. Says it like really big, like fucking, you can go to jail for a joint. And I'm just like, man, fuck you. I got enough in this car to fucking oh man. But same
Yeah,
difference.
it's
It's
no
like that's
joke.
just the case. I don't
No.
trust the system where I'm going. That's I mean traveling. I mean if you just saw today, TSA or like the DEA or somebody told TSA that they can no longer hit people for weed or even search people for weed because of all the mispractices and the fact that they don't know what the fuck they're looking for anymore. They can't construe the fact of
Right?
CBD, hemp. It's all one fucking plant, anyways. When people talk about CBD and hemp, and dude, it's weed. Okay, it's just this
Yeah,
one's
after the
weaker than the
Cowboy
other, and
Cup.
this one's we've engineered this to be legal. You know,
Yeah, after the Cowboy Cup, I was coming back to here, and I had like probably like 4 jars that each had a quarter ounce in it. So I probably had about an ounce,
sick.
And then I get pulled out for like screening, So we're going to send you over here, and I'm shitting bricks. Like everyone else is going through, laughing, hey, fuck it, I was like, "Ah, son of a bitch." And they go and they reach in. They're like, "Sir, you can't have this," and they pull out a bottle of water, set it
Oh
down,
shit.
give me back my weed, and send me on my way. And I was like,
Well,
sweet.
dude, I'm gonna give you a tip and everybody on your show a tip, okay? Like get TSA pre-check. It's like $85 for 5 years,
For a
and you walk through a
year. For
fucking
five
metal
years?
detector. You walk through a metal detector. That's it. They don't give up. They've literally seen my weed and like been like, look, we're looking for bombs. We're not looking for the bomb. And I'm like, you just said bomb twice in a fucking airport. And just laughing my ass off hysterically because it's been several times where I was afraid, and I still am to this day. There's just certain states. I mean, if you're gonna like have weed, fly out with it, but don't like fucking.
I wrote a note. TSA pre. I always forget That's the move. I hate the body scanners. I get real mad at the body scanners and
They
shit,
don't
you
even
know,
do
like,
that. They have
yeah,
they occasionally you'll have to do that, but they even have their own section of the airport. So everybody that does clear is crappy because clear is over here and TSA pretext like over here. And like you literally, it takes me like, okay, there's a giant line. I could walk into the airport like 20 minutes before my flight. It takes me 5 fucking minutes. I don't even have to take my shoes off. I don't got to take my laptops out. I don't got to take nothing out. So that's obviously carry on is your best friend.
man. I wish I would have thought I'm flying out to MJ BizCon for, on Wednesday, and then I get back, hang out with my girlfriend for the weekend, and then fly out to Los Angeles for a business conference. I
Oh,
paid
fuck
several
yeah.
$1,000s to go to a conference 6 months ago. Seemed like a great idea
Worth
six
it.
months ago, and I just paid installments every month to get myself there. And now I've got a hernia. It was just Thanksgiving. I'm moving into a new house. I'm dating this girl. I've got a daughter, and I'm just like,
Isn't it
oh, fuck.
amazing how like when you plan shit like physically, like okay, in 3 months I'm gonna do this shit, how it never goes the way you want? Because like I planned for like 2 events. I was like, okay, this networking thing that was like a wine thing, but I don't drink. So I was like, okay, I can go there and network for the munchies. Okay, and then like this other one was like Sensi night, right? And they happen on the same night, and then it happens to be the night me and the wife are going to a concert that we've been planning for fucking I don't know how many months. So it's not possible to plan shit.
Yeah. No, especially if you're trying to be busy, as I know you are, my friend. And I know the system's going to crash. And the fact that we just did an hour, I usually try to push it to the 90 minutes, but rather than have this end awkwardly and not be able to give you proper shout outs, we'll just call it an hour, man. You are a unique character, Doc. And
Thank
I'm
you.
very glad that I got to bring you out and introduce you to the GramFam and the people at large. And I know the Dude Grows homies are always looking for interesting on camera personality. So for sure at our next little meeting, I'll be dropping your name, my friend. So
Well,
in the
mad respect.
meantime,
Shout out to your
yeah,
GramFam. Just
hey, thank you, and thank you to all you guys watching. We hit like 150 people tonight. Usually it hovers around 110, 120, so that's a good indicator. We'll probably get shadow banned because of the weed, but I needed the people to see your work. You're in there. So where can people find you? Where's the most important place? You want to send them to Facebook, Reddit, Instagram? Where can these people
I would
find you?
rather you guys, if anything, like if you look up Doc Hollywood 710, so that's like what my thing on the screen is, Doc Hollywood 710. If you go on Instagram or Reddit, like you'll find, like on Reddit, you'll find like way more of my growing because like I can show whatever I want and versus like Instagram. But definitely check me out on there. I appreciate every single follower we had tonight. Like I feel like anybody watching, I appreciate the energy. The vibes tonight just felt really wonderful. If anything, I'm an open book about most of the stuff I do outside of like obviously business. But if you talk to me about like, hey man, like how can I get some like better photos or something? I mean, this stuff is super easy to do. And if anything, it gives you kind of a better medium to understand your buds when you can check them out at a microscopic level. So it's kind of fun and much appreciate Grambo for having me on. And yeah, I feel like if you guys need me, I'm always, I feel like when you're stoner and you're in business, you're always happy to talk to people because like obviously, it's a wild world we're in. And I mean, I'd rather have more friends in this world than enemies. And I don't know. I got more haters on my side than anything. But if anything, lately, you guys have been wonderful.
Well, you're a good soul, my friend, and you got an awesome story. And yes, I'm so
Thank you.
glad we got to tackle it. And we'll for sure be talking again in real life for sure, because you're a Denverite. How we don't hang out more is beyond me. I have no friends. People think I'm very social. All I do is perform and talk. I talk in a microphone or a camera. That's all I do.
Frisbee golf, bro. If you get on frisbee golf, bro, like fucking, like I play that. Like I think that's like 99% of my day. If I'm not like actually working, but I feel like when you run social media like I do, like oh my god, like it's crazy. But this has been so much fun. I think that this has been a good time, and I mean, I rarely do interviews just because. I don't know, like, for some reason it's got to be the right vibe and the right kind of cat. And like, if anything, man, you've always been the dopest dude because you gave me this thing on my wall over here that says support your local jug dealer.
Ah,
Jugs. Yeah.
yes.
And
You
dude,
have
it's
one of the giant vinyl things. One of my first things when I took over the Jug Dealers accounts, I said, whoever is like repping us and like giving us love online, we need to give them on love. And I think I delivered that personally. I actually left the house Or no,
You did.
we
I feel
ran
like
into each other at the
is it bad?
expo, at the showdown.
It was that cannabis cup that Cultivate did. So yeah, like
Yeah,
I mean, dude, it was
yeah.
cool. I mean, if anything, like I rarely see people in person because like I actually meet more people like online first before I ever meet them in person. And half the time with my memory and my new brain injury, like people will see me and be like, "Yo, what's up?" And I'm like, "Hey, if you said what's up to me, I'm gonna talk to you. So like, we're good. You're probably a friend of mine." With mad
My
love,
man.
I appreciate everybody and thanks for the good vibes tonight.
Hell yeah. As the theme song says, nothing but good vibes up in here. And yeah, shout out Untrained Astronaut. He's representing that ace. I think he had an A74 is what the doc weren't you rocking the A74?
Oh, I switched. So I went from an A7 IV. I shot with that one for a long time, but I can tell you, you can shoot with an A7 III. Like the actually like a lot of the shots, okay, so mine of that shoot that Grambo showed, that was shot with my A7 IV. Well, the other ones that Chris shot, the other one that you showed was Chris. That was off an A7 III. So it doesn't take too much to do this. My camera I have right now is an A7 IV. It's a
Ooh,
61 megapixel, just like the A7 IV was. The only reason I got it is because like I'm trying to get into this macro escape, and like it's kind of cool to
right.
hopefully test the limits. And like honestly, like educationally, they need to like allow this content because to me it looks like like a basic biology book or like like a botany book when you're showing the layers of shit. And but yeah, good
Oh,
stuff, man.
well, I love it. The dude grows. Scotty Reels shot an A73. Both Jug Dealers are shot on an A73. So that's the cannabis camera
Love.
of today. And I bring it up because Untrained Astronaut, cannabis content creator, will be my guest next week. So thank you guys.
Sweet.
Thank you, Doc. And we always end with the theme song. So peace out, everybody.
Love you
Bye.
guys.
We're dropping knowledge on Grambo.